Hi everybody, welcome to For Crit Playback. I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes.
And today we're talking about Settlers of Catan.
Or Catan.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
So let's get started.
Okay guys, we're here today playing the Settlers of Catan. Joining us for this adventure is our resident camera guy and film editor, Ivan Hahn. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Did you forget my name?
I was going to say introduce yourself, and then I said your name too.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Ivan Hahn.
And now we're established. Now, according to the rules, again, the first player roll goes to who rolls the highest. Essentially, you could say, we're rolling for crit. But I won't. I won't say it. Go ahead and place your first
Now this
die.
is the challenge, because since I put the first house down, I can claim that territory. But the last person to put down a house, which would be Jonathan in this case,
correct,
gets to put his house down twice. So he can put the best placement of both of his houses together.
which can be a good advantage because then you know what you're getting.
Right. And then I have the last placement for my second house, which could screw me over. But it's too tempting to pass up because brick and wood are really good early on.
That is some prime real estate right there.
It is very good.
You've got three very good numbers, and brick and wood early game are essential.
So I have to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to corner the other side of that and go.
Interesting, that's a bit of a risky move there.
It is.
Yes, it is.
He's playing on the dots, not me.
I'm a risk taker.
Clearly, and a move maker. It's not a thing.
So now, Jonathan gets to go.
Now I get to go. I have not really looked at the board. I think since I get two at once, I am going to take this area right here.
I was looking at that.
See, that's a solid spot.
That is
I don't
very
recommend that because I wanted it.
There's brick over there. I can see
Very good
already brick is going to be hard to come by in this game.
This is the only other
You're
brick spot.
probably cornering the market unless I
if
could
you
put a
get
ship
there, no one else can get brick with the two of us. So you're cornering out Ivan from this brick spot.
Sorry, pal.
I think I'm actually gonna place mine here on a desert space. But this gives me a good wheat and a strong sheep.
That's true. That's true.
And I'm gonna put my road that way.
Interesting. And one
What's
sheep.
really odd, in most cases, people make sure their second house hits three different resources.
Right.
Ivan's the only one who did that. Both Jonathan and myself only had to start off with two. We took very risky second settlements.
Which isn't too, usually I don't think that's too big a disadvantage.
It isn't, but we'll see how, it's just odd, I've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was purely absent-mindedness. I could have easily, I really should have put that one down first.
Well, now, for the rest of the game, our resources are hidden. I mean, it's pretty, you can sort of guess what people have.
If you keep track, you technically know everything everyone has, but...
Right.
True.
But by the time you get through the game, you will just start forgetting because you want to try and figure out what.
If you're really sitting there memorizing what everybody has, you probably just shouldn't play Settlers of Catan.
Right.
You're probably ready for something a bit more advanced.
Over to the Ive Man, is what I call him.
Right. So I have
Ooh, seven.
All right, so I'm gonna play nice, move it right to the middle where nobody is currently at.
Very thoughtful of you.
Now the downside is I don't get any cards for that, but I also don't gain any enemies for that either, which will help you later on in the game. Unless you're playing with these guys.
Thank you very much.
No problem very much.
I make that sound, it's a good luck. That's a 5.
All right, so what do we get for 5?
Wood.
I get a wheat.
And a wheat. So would you pass
so
me
I get
one?
nothing once again, which is great. Thanks, fellas.
You're off to a great start.
This is what I get for picking all the dots.
I am gonna build a road.
Oh! It's happening. I only took one.
So I am going to place my road.
Now, road
here.
placement is very important because there is a very nifty card that'll give you many points at the end called the longest road. And that will either put you over the top or not help you at all.
People can also take it from you by either disrupting your longest road or building a longer one themselves.
Right.
Or just moving their pieces to where yours are and cheating.
Or
of
well, I
course.
mean, technically you could just roll.
Speaking of which, Jonathan, what's that over there?
Oh.
All right.
It's weird. No.
And
Another 8.
So
So
give
pass
me another
a sheep,
sheep.
please.
Those red numbers don't lie.
I think you're gonna be
One for you.
You're gonna find
I
that.
am lousy with wheat.
Yeah.
Lousy.
Unfortunately, the wheat port is over here.
It sure is. Shucks. I will trade 2 wheats for 1 wood right now.
Do you want any sheep?
No. I'll give you 1 wheat for a sheep.
1 wheat for
Why
one
were you
sheep?
not holding all of your cards?
I have a lot of cards.
Okay.
1 wheat for 1 sheep.
It's a deal. Good doing business with you.
Have a good day. Have a good day. Okay, would anybody be willing to give me wood?
Do you have brick?
Absolutely not.
I can give you ore.
I only want brick.
Anybody?
Oh, I do want some more, but I don't want it enough to give you my 1 wood.
You want some ore?
Positive.
You sure?
I don't want any more.
You sure?
I am sore.
Without ore? Okay, we'll keep going.
Let's. We can pretend that
You can do
never
more
happened.
puns later.
I'll give you brick for wood.
All right.
Beat me to the punch.
So, with that, I am gonna build a settlement.
Oh, I mean, I didn't want to give you that. I'm sorry. Wait, what?
You got to see a little bit of us playing Settlers of Catan. Now we're going to give you our thoughts and opinions in our little playback section that we like to do. Catan, of course, very popular game.
Extremely.
Extremely popular. Probably a lot of people who have never played, or if they've played any board games beyond Monopoly, Clue, Scrabble, Catan is probably the one that they have played.
I would say for a lot of people, it might have been what they consider their first.
Absolutely. It definitely, I think when people suggest or think of gateway games, Catan is usually that game that you think of.
Along with a few others, but it is definitely the big one.
Which is why we thought appropriate for our inaugural, I had to remember what that word was, playback episode. I think first thing we should cover is an important controversy that we touched on earlier. That is Catan or Catan?
That is true.
So what do you say?
Well, I say Catan mostly, but you know, it's not. I don't care as much about this.
It doesn't bother you? Doesn't drive you crazy?
No, I think for more important to me is making sure that the sheep flow. That's much
as long
more
as the sheep flow.
Yeah, the sheep flow.
I feel like it's the same thing as manga versus manga. It depends on how pretentious you want to sound.
That's true. I know some people who just always correct you, like that's how it's said, and you know it's.
If you're a normal person, Catan. If you want to go a little beyond, Catan.
Well, I think it's not as much the saying; it's correcting people.
That's true.
That's the.
I don't want to be clear. We're just playing around. We know you say it however you want to say it. Some people might say Catan, but they would be wrong.
Well, why don't we ask them to comment on the video?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please
How do you
let us
say
know.
it?
If anyone is out there watching this, comment on our YouTube. Tell us, and we'll gather your poll results. Anyway, let's get to the game itself. So this is a game we've played countless times.
Yes.
For both of us, I think this was one of our first early games.
Right.
As we were saying before.
I would say either this or Munchkin. I could not tell you which one came first.
True. For me, Munchkin, but Catan was definitely that next step.
Yes.
The next big step. And it still holds up, more or less.
I mean, it's definitely a game I don't dislike coming out still.
Right, and which is, you know, a lot because, again, many years we've been playing this game, and a lot of games tend to lose that replay value. It's a big deal. Of course, there's a lot of expansions for Settlers of Catan. I said Catan. I'm going to second guess every time I say it now. So how many expansions have you? Well, let's talk about the base. Let's stick with the base for now. Yeah. I got ahead of myself, and I apologize to everyone out there. The game itself is fairly straightforward. That's why part of why it makes such a good gateway introductory game for people. But for me, the fun in it really comes from the trading, I think.
Well, I think another reason that makes it a great gateway game is that while there are optimal strategies, like if you notice on the board, we played on some number-wise, we should have gotten some very, very good results on. However, because there is a chance on what is rolled, even if someone played on the lower numbers, which you will see later on.
Even if you play on numbers that have less chance of being rolled, right?
You could get them a lot. And that way, someone who may be a little newer still has a chance up against the more veteran player.
It definitely has that. It makes me think of Mario Kart, which is also for video games comparison. It's like that's the gateway game that everybody can play, because even if you're not that good at it, or Mario Party, same thing, you can still catch up in the end.
Usually, yes.
And there's that, there's enough social interaction, but kind of, it's funny because I know when I first heard of Catan, that's right, Catan, and first, it's the last time I'm going to bring it up, and introducing it to people for the first time, you get a lot of, it's a game about farming.
Oh, no, I'll admit, I'm guilty of actually saying that, because my friend's girlfriend in college, and they're like, yeah, we're playing a board game called Catan, and it's where they're farming. I'm like, why would you want to do something about farming?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, a little while later, you're thinking, this is really fun. And a lot of board games are like that.
Right. If you know anything about board games, farming is a big deal for board games.
I think you shouldn't ignore a game on its theme alone.
Definitely.
Because usually, if a game has something you'd consider a boring theme, it probably has really good mechanics there.
And this is a great example. And if you want to hear more of our thoughts on that, check out the first episode of our regular Roll for Crit podcast, which should be up right now, in episode number 1, if you're watching this at a later date. But beyond that, the social interaction, I think, is great. Let's talk about our particular game today, because exactly what you were talking about kind of has happened to me before, where I will place my settlement on numbers that I think are amazing, and then they never get rolled. And today, you may have seen some in the video. Ivan, our good friend who's behind the camera right now, he nodded, was on numbers that were terrible. I mean, his spots were awful.
Thanks. Well, I think it's funny to point out, he put them on there solely because he knew the numbers were not true.
And it worked out.
It did.
Completely. I mean, he didn't win.
But
spoilers.
He was damn close.
He was competitive with us the whole way.
I mean,
way more than I would have expected.
You'll see whether depending on where we cut this.
That's right.
You'll see
Suspense.
That Ivan did not have the largest army or longest road. However, he was still at our level.
Yeah.
And that was pretty impressive, because usually getting one of those bonuses shoots you in front of everyone else.
And that brings us to another thing that I'm always curious about with people is, for me, there's really 2 essential big picture strategies for Catan. You go for longest road, or you go for largest army. As far as I play, that's how I see it.
No, that's usually what happens, because you can only do it usually. You usually don't have many resources.
You either have a lot of ore and stuff, or you have more of the bricks than the wood. So my question to you is, how do you usually play? Are you flexible, or do you usually go for one?
I usually go for longest road. It's usually easier, and usually it's easier to keep track of other people with the longest road, and it's usually easy to take it back. Like getting the knight card costs more resources, and someone can take that. Not only will they take it away from you, but usually they'll drop the thief onto a space, making it even harder for you to get more knight cards.
True. Yeah, I always go for longest road too. It's just more. There's something more immediate about it. Like, you get to see your road. I also feel like, first of all, if you're on a good brick and wood spot, it tends to be, like you said, a lot easier to get. But the thing about the knights, you get the card and then you have to wait around to play it. So essentially, it takes you to get 3 knights, a total of 6 turns to actually get that card.
Assuming that you only buy 1 card a turn.
Right, and assuming that it even is a knight.
I think, yes, that's the 2 things the biggest problems I think I have with it usually. But is 1, you don't know what you're going to draw from that.
Although the vast majority are knights, the development cards.
Yes, development cards. 2, you're already sort of building that road because you got to reach the other places.
Right, it's like you might as well try to go for it as long as you're doing it.
So, one of the best feelings in the world is someone having a long road and you putting a house right in the middle of it.
That's a rule that we overlooked for a long time.
It is.
And I don't know if that's a common thing. I know one other couple I talked to did that as well.
Because I know a lot of times, Catan, because it's popular as an entry board game, is one of those games a lot of people will mention the how to lose friends. Which I think usually if there's some kind of move that can do that, the game actually can have some really fun things if you can do that, because that makes people really angry.
And that is that can be devastating if you've longest road and you're feeling good about it. Oh my God, and they intersect and cut you off.
Yeah.
That hurts.
And the only other way that comes up a lot in Catan is the Monopoly card.
Now, one thing, so in our game, both you and Ivan played Monopoly cards.
Yes, which I've never seen both of them come up so fast.
One thing neither of you did that I always do when I get a Monopoly card is first I say, hey, does anybody have any brick? Oh, you all have brick? Great. I'll take it from you. That's the best way to go.
Yeah, usually in that strategy, or what you do is you'd be like, I'll trade you 4 sheep for like 2 of that. And then you say sheep and get it back.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
But in this situation, I mean, Ivan happened to know there was at least a lot of brick around, and he happened to be more than he thought. For me, I knew he wanted to build a city, and he already had 3 ore. So I wanted to grab that ore from him. And that's still getting 3 ore, which is good for me.
Yeah, if you know what you want, you know what you want. Yeah. Plus, most of the game, I didn't have any cards.
The rolls have been really weird, proportionally wise. Ivan's putting him on the high-risk numbers has paid off for him. But I got my 3 knights to get the largest army, and Jonathan just got longest road.
That's right.
So it's very close. I'm not sure.
It really, a lot of it depends on dice rolls right now.
Yeah, now, like, right now what I'm gonna do, I'm not even thinking. I'm just gonna roll first and see what happens.
That's generally a good way to play it.
7.
Okay. What do you know?
And I have 8.
Oh!
So, what do I want to discard?
You have to discard half your hand.
I do.
But at least you get to steal from somebody. It's a consolation prize. Yeah. I am a little concerned about you usurping my road there, although you got a ways to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's come across me.
Although I
come across my mind. Yeah,
in there
but more importantly, right now I'm just like, I need a city, like, because with the resource weight.
That's true. None of us have built cities.
So I just rolled a 6.
Oh, that means we both get a brick. I get an ore,
and I get absolutely nothing. Does anybody want a brick?
Nope.
I will trade you for it.
Do you have
what will he give?
Nope. Yeah, I don't want your
fair trade.
For brick.
It's a fair trade.
I'm actually looking for wheat. Does anybody want to give up wheat for brick?
No, hell no. Because you're 1 away from a city.
If you build a road here, 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 and here, does that count as an infinity?
No.
So it's constantly longest road?
Yes. The game actually just ascends to a higher plane. Well, the only thing is I don't want to put it here because I feel like you might come in here and cut me off. It could happen.
It could.
But there's not a lot over here that I'm really digging on. I don't dig on swine. So I'm gonna go over here and just roll with it.
There's no pigs.
What's a Pulp Fiction quote? I don't know. It had no relevance.
9.
9.
So that's here.
And here.
Ah, so I get a sheep and a wood.
And I get a sheep. Think about it.
All right. What do I actually have now?
Fran Drescher's here. That's probably great for audio.
Or Peter Griffin. Get an earful of this, folks. Episode 1. Instantly a failure.
You have no hand still, right?
Oh, correct. He's been making sure of that.
Is there anything?
That's my new strategy long term. Be no hand guy. No one can ever trade with me.
I want wheat.
No.
Is there anything that you need?
No. Yes.
Ore.
Yeah, I need ore. You want to trade me wheat for ore?
He was so adamant, and then
because I didn't think he was gonna trade that. I didn't think he was gonna trade that. 7. I'm glad I just got rid of all my wheat.
Let's go. You want this? You want
I have to get rid of half my cards.
Oh!
That is
Ow, that hurts.
9. So that's 2 sheep I'm getting rid of. And a wood. And
what is he doing?
A brick.
Yes,
to get rid of 4 cards.
Oh.
Rewind the tape.
I forgot. I was like, what's he doing to cost 2 sheep?
You didn't see his extra card?
Okay. Right.
That built a school. You know something I realized that always happens when we play Catan? We become really superstitious. Like, we've been getting a lot of 11s. 11's gonna come through.
So, just like Jonathan over there.
Oh,
handless.
Welcome to the club. Doesn't it feel good?
Hey, you're not handless.
Free.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I have one.
Hold your hand when you have a hand, sir.
I'm sorry. There's only one. It just feels sad. Is 7 the most common?
Yes.
That's why they made the robber, right? Because if there was a 7 on the board, it would be like straight up Winsville. It's a technical term for of board game players.
Okay. Ooh.
11.
11.
Wow. That's 3 brick.
Can I have 3 brick, please?
Wow. This game is weird.
We always say that, you know that.
It's not going the way I
6.
expected. How much will that pizza be? Ah, it's 2 wheat and a sheep. Here you go, keep the ore.
That's how you make a pizza.
Does anybody want a wheat that they all just got?
I do want a wheat.
You do want a wheat.
Oh, wait, do you want the wheat?
No, I want to give a wheat.
Oh, I will take a wheat.
Well, what will you give me?
Would you like brick
sheep?
or sheep?
I definitely don't want either of those.
10.
Hey, buddy! I'm in the money.
You get stuff too, Willie.
No, I don't.
You're
white.
I get 2
you're
sheep.
right. Can I get wood, please?
Oh my lordy lord. This is the most cards I've had in my hands since the game began. I don't even know what to do with all these cards.
All right.
I'm losing it.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trading in 6 brick
Oh, damn. You guys have all your double ports.
for 3 ores.
That is bananas what you're doing right there. That is bananas.
Your face just dropped.
That is straight up bananas.
You're like 2 minutes ago, I didn't have a hand.
I don't think in any time we've ever played Catan, I've ever seen anyone trade 6 at once.
Welcome to
for
Monopoly.
3 things. That is nutto,
Okay.
which is trademarked. New word, obviously. That's nutto.
Yeah, I mean, the luck can really sway your way, or it can leave just as fast. I mean, early on, you were doing amazing.
Right.
And because of that, we actually dropped the thief a lot in your space.
Like 1,000 times.
So the funny thing was, after we started dropping the thief in your space, you never got those numbers again.
It didn't make any difference. I was screwed no matter what happened. But it was such a good, because I had the 2 10s right next to each other.
Yeah.
And you just kept ping-ponging the robber back and forth.
And what was funny, meantime, while we were doing that, the 11, which should never come up that often, 12 and 2, were coming up really often. And because of that, Ivan was getting lots of resources.
So that's the thing in this game where it's really, I would call it a negative thing for me, because it's really in any game where you're rolling dice, right? The odds are always totally random. Well, if you have 1 die it is, but with 2 dice, obviously there are odds, but essentially anything could happen.
I mean, yeah, I can understand why that for some people that can be a real turnoff. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I like the randomness in this, because as long as you don't take it as I'm going to win this game head on, like,
sure,
money's on it or something. It's a fun. You're just sitting with friends. You're socializing. It's a good game for that, which is why it's a gateway game.
I like it to an extent. I wouldn't want it to be down to a science, but when we do get those games where it's all 12s somehow and no 8s, then I get mad.
Yeah.
Because come on.
You do have. Recently, you've had some really bad luck with that.
Seriously,
no,
I mean, not on a roll.
It's not going to be my game. I'm going to suggest my top 5 or something. But if someone asks me, I want to get into a board game, it's going to be one.
Sure.
It's going to be what I suggest.
But then we haven't really touched on ports either.
Oh,
so that is something that I often do not pay attention to ports.
God, no.
So ports can be really helpful, because if you get a 2-to-1 and you're on a good spot for that resource, or even a 3-to-1 can be great, because you can get a much better trade in.
Oh no, the entire game, I was just like, I have 3 sheep I don't need. Why am I not? No, because every time I forget about a port, usually, and then I'm like, why didn't I get a port? Like the few times I remember a port would be like, let's say I was first, like this time, and I see 2 really good numbers, like 2 sheep, like right, and this is for random, of course. And then I'd be like, I want to get that, and then I want to get the sheep port, because then right off the bat, I'm
right.
But otherwise, like, it's not my. If
it's not right there, you're not going for it.
Like, what I'm usually thinking of is the longest road bonus first. I'm like, I'm going to have my roads in touch.
Yeah. But again, I was right there with the sheep spot and the sheep port.
You had such a sweet...
And it did not go my way for the rest of the game. I mean, it was fantastic. And then meanwhile, Ivan's on the brick for 11.
No, that was really funny, because both of us were on 6 brick, which should have come up a lot.
Yeah, we were. The beginning of the game, we even said, oh, well, poor Ivan, we're going to have all the brick.
we said our shit. We put our buildings in a way so he couldn't put his building there.
We were like, ha ha ha, all the brick is ours. And what happened? He had 2 turns in a row where he traded in 6 bricks at once to get different resources. He was rolling in bricks.
He had the brick part too. We were wondering, like, why would he build there?
So we were just, that did not happen for us that time. But that's okay because that's hilarious.
Yes, that's one of the like you're able to laugh at more. I mean, there are some other games you'll see later on in reviews when the randomness hurts more. I think you can't laugh at them.
The longer the game is, the less I'm gonna laugh.
That's true, and how much you have to put into it.
Right.
Like, we'll get to those. That's for another time.
Let's touch on expansions for this briefly because there are quite a few, and we have tried a couple of them.
Yeah.
There's 5 to 6 player, which has some stuff. There's Knights and Cities and Knights. There's Seafarers. Which ones have you played, and which ones do you enjoy or not enjoy more or less?
Well, first off, we should note that they actually are making more. I believe it's in the works. I don't know if it's actually printed. You can print and play. I don't know if it's out yet.
Okay.
But there's actually a new tile of oil, which apparently could, if you harvest it too much, everyone loses. So it's more of an eco idea.
Huh.
Yeah, it's an interesting. It's sort of like a gamble.
That is interesting.
But
as far as existing ones go,
I gotta say, I prefer just the base. I mean, the 5 and 6 is nice with more players. The problem with the 5 and 6, though, it's not as much. It's bad for the game. It's just it's hard when you're playing with that many people. Is that at the end of each turn you have to ask everyone if they want to build. And this becomes a real hassle when you have to go, do you want to build? You want to build? You want to build? You want to build? You want to build?
Especially when you're playing with 5 or 6 people.
Yes.
You're asking that a lot. A lot of the time.
And of course, with 5 to 6 people, the game's usually longer.
Right. But I mean, they have to do it because otherwise it's just so much time between your turns. I think they do it because if you can't get rid of those cards, the odds of the robber coming up are that much higher.
I think it's just because... Yeah,
it's an imperfect solution, but they had to do something.
And I mean, it's good. It's just it's hard depending on you have to be more careful who you're playing with.
Yeah. No, I mean, not to. It's kind of boring to just echo your exact opinions, but I had the exact same opinion. I definitely prefer the base. I mean, it's just.
I think every time we played the 5 and 6, we were together too.
Yeah, probably. And we definitely did Seafarers once with the pirates.
We did,
and Cities and Knights as well. There's others.
City Knights wasn't too bad. It's a little weird and to get used to, so I don't mind it. The pirate one was a little annoying because the way it worked is the pirate counter would go up, and you could also build walls. Was a new thing. And if you didn't have walls on your places when the pirate counter hit the final mark, everything would downgrade. Like a city would become just a settlement. I don't know if the settlement would be removed. It just felt like you're extending. It was just making the game, prolonging the game, than really adding the fun.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because I have less time with them, but I just wasn't able to wrap my head around all the new things that they added. It was too much. The Catan is kind of like the perfect simplistic game.
No, exactly. Like some games, I mean, if you see yourself that do have expansions, you will think like, oh, a deck building game. I want to see more of my heroes or something.
But this is kind of they did it. You hit the jackpot with this.
Well, it's why it's so big. I mean, I like my 4 resources. I like my one thing we haven't played, which I guess technically is an expansion.
The side versions.
Yeah, I like. The one in particular I'm thinking of
is the United States map, which is the same thing as Catan, but I think there are little differences.
Well, this one's set. You cannot randomize it. Right. It's made like actually you get the coal from where you get coal in North America, and so on and so forth.
They also have one for I think France or Germany.
Yeah, there's definitely a Germany one.
One or both of those. So we haven't tried, although I always see them and they look interesting. But it is kind of. I do feel kind of hypocritical because on the one hand, the reason that I don't play Catan as much anymore, not as excited about it anymore, is because I do feel like the strategies are limited and we've kind of exhausted. Personally, we've played it so much that I would like a little more complexity, but all the attempts they've had to add it in, I haven't enjoyed.
Well, for me, the main reason is just because it's unfortunate just because there's a lot of games out there. And we have played it a lot, so now I want to give my other games a fair share to reach the same level. I have no problem with it otherwise. I think it's a great game. When we actually do suggest it, I have no problems.
I think it speaks a lot more to how much we've played it, which is a good thing, than it does to the game itself. Because it's, I mean, sure, there are some games that will last you forever.
Yes.
This isn't one of them, but, I mean, we still play it.
No, I don't think so. I think it would be a game I always keep on my shelf just in case.
It depends. I mean, it depends what kind of person you are. But I do, before we get to like our recommended.
But
one thing I want to touch on because this is something you actually said to me a while ago that I enjoyed so much was thinking about. We haven't even discussed really. Well, we kind of did at the beginning the actual theme of the game and how that integrates with the game itself. This isn't one of those, although you don't really feel like you're farming in this game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The trading is what it is, but if you really think about it, what farmers aren't trading, right? It doesn't really, and the idea of why didn't he get, well, I guess it's like, oh, my area produced more this year and his didn't. It kind of works out. But the thing that I really liked that you said was thinking about the end of the game, like in most games, and in Catan as well, there's a victor, there's a win condition, and one person wins. But it's not like everybody else loses. Everyone still has their in the theme of the game.
Oh yeah, no.
your farmers still have a little settlement. They still have their sheep.
No, there are some other games that are like that. We're thinking about like I didn't die, so I won, right?
Right. As far as some games you're just everyone else is dead or something.
It's bragging rights.
It's just interesting because I often don't think about the theme in that way. It's interesting to think like,
well, it's because
farmers.
The game itself lends itself as a mechanic, which is why it's lasted so long.
But I suppose that's probably true of a lot of games.
That way, when you're playing the game, well, like there are some games though that you actually be like, I am this persona, this character running through. So you actually feel like you're doing some of the stuff. But in this, you're not like, I am the farmer. Right. You're like, I'm gonna get more bricks. It's the last thing I do. Yeah. And I swear to God, if you play Monopoly on me, I will do terrible things.
Please roll 6. Please, for the love of God, roll 6. So, final thoughts before we go into final thoughts, or do you want to go into final thoughts?
I say, let's go into how the game ended first.
Oh, well, let's talk. Yeah. So our particular game.
That was really rare. And it was really silly.
Why don't we show them a little, we'll show you what happened. Okay, sir?
All right. This roll.
I really feel like I'm going to win this.
So 11. So you get an ore.
I get my ore.
So
and I get nothing because you blocked it. Thanks, buddies.
I'm going to trade 4 ore for a brick.
Which no one should ever do in a game.
And then I'm going to play 3 brick and 3 wood.
Okay.
To build 3 roads.
What?
I'm
sorry? 2, 3, bringing me to 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Giving me the longest road.
Which Jonathan had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Correct.
So you stole me by 1, and you reveal your market, which gives you a total of 10 points for the win.
So not only did you win the game, but you won it with largest army and
that's like
road.
The ultimate win. Did you like that?
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking like, okay, I'm gonna work on getting another city because I had all that ore. But then I'm like, you have 8 roads. I can build 3 more, which just nets me that 1 more point.
Which I did not see coming.
No, neither. I was not thinking of ever taking the longest road from you ever. Like I wasn't even gonna connect those 2 settlements. Like it was all gonna be like
because they were pretty far apart too.
Yeah, no.
So I was like, I don't need to worry about him.
No, that was a reasonable thing. It's like how sure you can build a lot. Like I've been trading 12 bricks. Sure. But I mean, even so, I mean.
But the fact that you took the longest road from me, I mean, yeah, it clinched it, absolutely. Yeah. And you had that 1 victory point. Which I had 1 too, but it didn't end up mattering. And you didn't even, it really was a light game on cities, I feel. I didn't build any cities.
Well, ore was
tough and hard to come by, that is why. One thing also actually I do want to say, first of all, but it was a solid win, and it was exciting. And for most of the game before that, it was pretty close.
No, like I said earlier, like with Ivan, like even though he didn't have either of those big bonus cards, he was in the game with us.
Yeah, which is cool. It doesn't always happen that way.
And like besides that 1 move that got me the win, I was not like ahead by any means.
But the main reason that I really enjoy Catan and will continue to enjoy it forever, for some reason I don't know why, but this game above all others encourages puns.
Oh no,
not our group of friends.
Not just puns. This game encourages the most inside jokes I've ever seen.
I don't know.
There are just shirts that say like the sheep must flow, or like, and then there's like wood jokes, there's brick jokes, there's ore jokes, like there's everything.
There's something about the game that's
it's like I said with the thing with breaking friends, like, you know, playing the Monopoly.
That's the show where Walter White moves into an apartment in New York City and they go to Central Perk.
No, but like, while it does kill friendships, it's really building though, because it's sort of like, you gonna take sheep from me? Like you might say that outside, like no.
Anytime there's someone gets 2 bricks, it's always Stanley 2 brick. I'm fond of getting ore, like he wants some more. It's really stupid.
The possibilities are endless.
They are endless, and we take part in them a lot. Stanley 2 brick is my personal favorite. I think that's an original. I don't think any other group has come up with that.
I'm sure every group says that with all their jokes.
No. But that's or brick house gets sung quite a few times.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Or wheat to mention a notable board game mogul, I don't know if that's the right word, Will Wheaton comes up quite a few times. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to just cut you off now.
You should. But why don't you cut me off with your final thoughts and who would you recommend this to or not?
Frankly, I'd recommend to everyone. This is one of those games, it's such a safe bet to always have. It's like having the cheese pizza at a pizza party.
I love it already.
Like everyone, it's such a safe bet. You're gonna have maybe like 1% of people won't want to actually play it. Really, like it's just always good to have. And then when you meet someone new, instead of being like, let's drop them straight into a really heavy game like Battlestar, Arkham Horror, which we will get to. Just hold on to that. But this is one that you can just be like, let's play Catan. It's simple. It's quick to teach. I mean, how long would you say it takes to learn the game? Like, just the general basic ideas.
Very simple. I mean, all it is you see the numbers. When you roll it, you get that.
Yeah.
Essentially, you've learned the game now.
Yeah. No, and then you have the guard.
There's the finer details of knowing where's a good place to go.
There's always strategy and stuff.
But even if you're still new, it's like, oh, the ones with more dots, I want to go there. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. No, and the game lends itself to being just a nice game where you can make those jokes and just have puns and stuff. So it's definitely not one of my favorite games, but I think a must in every player's collection.
I will agree. The only reason I would not recommend it is if you kind of already, like if you manage to skip that and you already have gone into the deeper games.
You went straight to the deep end.
Yeah. Or maybe you went like, Ticket to Ride or something like that. Whatever you went through and you're already on the heavier stuff. It might not do as much for you, but even then, you always are going to have people over, or maybe you aren't, but probably you're going to have people over who don't know how to play.
You have friends that bring people over. It's hard to play board games without them.
Maybe all your friends, though, are really into the heavy ones. I don't know, but it's good to have options or lighter game from time to time. And this is, yeah, you're right. It is the cheese pizza. It's like the perfect analogy. It's like you always want to have it on the shelf. I feel if you're an owner, it's like when Blu-rays first came out, like everybody had The Dark Knight or whatever. You know what I mean?
It's also good if you have like family events and there's kids, because that's easy to teach them too.
Yeah, it really is an all-purpose game that anybody can enjoy, even if you don't think you're going to enjoy it.
Well, anyone can enjoy without removing too much complexity. Like, let's take a game like Candyland or something.
Right.
Going to an extreme.
It's not nearly that basic of a game.
But it's not so complex, like I said earlier, Battlestar Arkham Horror, in which literally setting out the game will confuse you.
Right. We have played those games many times and still don't understand most of the rules. But yeah, so definitely, I mean, you don't need to hear it from us. If you haven't bought Settlers of Catan, you should, and probably you have and you own it.
And if not, find someone who does, because if you're going to play board games,
check it out and try it out. Absolutely gets to. We don't give ratings, but
I think our final recommendation is definitely one of the best games you can get into and a good one to have on reserve.
All right, so we did it. We've settled Catan. It's been settled. Settled. Everything's been settled. Settle boy. Settlers of Catan. That's another one I forgot to throw in before. The point is, thank you so much for watching our Settlers of Catan episode of For Crit Playback. My name is Jonathan Estes.
My name's Will Keeler.
And if you want to keep up with us, please check out everything we have to offer on rollforcrit.com. You can follow us on Twitter at rollforcrit, or our individual Twitters. Mine is at Quentz.
I'm at Doru Kiryu, and our cameraman is at
Ivan Arhan. We probably should have asked him that before we did the show. It's on the bottom of the screen, Ivan Arhan. And if you want to send us an email, please do if you have questions, comments, or response to anything we said.
Let's not forget. Comment in this video. We want it curious. How do you say the name of the game?
Catan or Catan? Big
or
deal.
Something different. You never know.
Also, if you want to suggest a game you'd like to see us play next, sooner than we would later, although we'd like to get to all of them in the universe.
We all have dreams.
Please send us an email. Again, I don't know if I said it, but it is rollforcrit@gmail.com. That's going to do it. It's been great. That's my sign off now.
Till we roll again.
Nice.